It's been exactly 1 year since I released my first video, so to celebrate, here's a special Euro 2024 Moneyball Clinic. Welcome to the Moneyball Clinic. I took the top 30 leagues, simulated them in full detail, then smashed it all together to create an aggregated database. This will be the baseline from which I'll be taking a look at a different team each episode, analysing their squad, creating a simple tactic, and using performance data to suggest practical transfer targets. Now I know what you're thinking. How can I find players undervalued by the market? And there is no market in international football. Whilst there might be no budgetary constraints, we can still assess the squad and see if there are more suitable candidates to make the short hop, skip and a jump over the border to Germany. We will be using a couple of mods which will be linked in the description below. Firstly, FMRTE's custom start date mod. This allows us to start in May 2024. It is behind a paywall, so if you're interested, you will need to purchase a license from them first. We'll also be using the UEFA Euro 2024 Real Groups mod by Sadiq on FM Scout. This, as the name implies, ensures that the groups are correct. Neither mod can ensure that the squads are accurate, however, so we shall make do with whatever the game decides on that front. Before we begin, we need a baseline. I simulated the Euros just 10 times. We're only looking here for a rough understanding of where the game thinks Denmark's level is. And that level is the bin. Okay, maybe that's a little unfair. Whilst Denmark failed to get out of their group in 5 of the 10 simulations, finishing rock bottom 3 times, that also means they did reach the knockout stages half the time, where they were matched up against the hosts Germany, who knocked them out thrice. On one occasion they faced Ukraine and fared no better. Oh, there was one other game against Germany. A 95th minute Højbjerg equaliser took the game to extra time, then penalties, where the Danes won 4-3. That set them up for an absolute thrashing against Spain. That has to be our target, quarter-finals at minimum. If you're looking for a bigger set of simulations and to see who comes out on top, then I heartily recommend Tom FM's video from last week, where he ran 100 simulations for that very purpose. Link in the corner. So how do we go about improving the squad? First, let's talk about which squad we're looking to improve. The one selected by virtual Kasper Hjulmand would probably make sense, but instead I'm going to be looking at the one selected by the real Kasper Hjulmand, which looks a little like this. We'll then compare their in-game performance against their peers to see if there's someone potentially more deserving of a call-up. Let's start in goal. Kasper Schmeichel, Frederik Ronau and Mads Hermansen will have the honour of representing Denmark this summer. A more than capable group, but we can do better. To create a shortlist, I'll be looking for keepers who are better than the worst of these 3 in key metrics. So for goalkeepers, I'm looking for those with a save ratio above Ronau's 72.4%, XG prevented above Ronau's 0.00, possession won above Ronau's 3.09, and possession lost below Ronau's 8.48. Okay, that's a bad example to start with, as Ronau was the worst in all those metrics, but I think it's safe to say that he's not going to be part of our squad. In fact, we'll be replacing him with Villarreal's Philip Jorgensen. His save percentage and possession won metrics are only marginally better than Ronau, but he is much safer on the ball and a more effective shot stopper. Schmeichel and Hermansen's positions are safe, with the young Leicester goalkeeper probably my preferred option over the former Leicester goalkeeper. There's a problem though. Hermansen is lacking sharpness. With only a couple of friendlies before the tournament starts, we will not be able to get him match fit, and so he's not safe. Instead, to be replaced by Midtjylland's Jonas Lossel. He'll provide an added veteran presence that was lost by axing Ronau, but is very much the third choice. At centre-back, we have Andreas Christensen, Joachim Andersen, Victor Nelson, Simon Kjaer, and Yannick Vestergaard. Now you might notice that the pizza charts are empty for Kjaer and Vestergaard. That's because they didn't play over 900 minutes in any of the data tests, and so we don't have any performance data for them. If we have no data, then we can't fairly assess them, and so they're gone. The other three are safe, and we'll be looking for players who have a tackle success rate above Joachim Andersen's 72.8%, a header win rate above Christensen's 65.1%, possession won above Andersen's 15.94%, and possession lost below Nelson's 2.96%. That should hopefully illustrate better what I mean by using the worst metric as the comparison point. In the interest of balance, we are looking for some left footers, and I'll be calling up an extra defender so we have 6 in total. That might be a hint as to our tactical approach. So in comes former Brentford defender Mads Bech Sorensen. He was the standout performer in terms of possession won, and also plays the highest proportion of progressive passes. He is now at Midtjylland though, so it is important to note that he is doing it at a lower level than Christensen, Andersen and Nelson. He'll be joined by Brøndby's Jakob Rasmussen, who by far and away has the best tackle success rate at 82.9% and the third best header win rate at 70.8%. That's our left footers sorted. Our final choice is Gothenburg's Sebastian Hausner, a solid centre-back that can also play at right-back. His 79.5% tackle win rate is impressive, but he is otherwise unspectacular. He is firmly the 6th choice. At wing-back, we have Joachim Mahler, Alexander Barr, Rasmus Christensen, and Victor Christensen. We've filtered down by tackle success rate, dribbles, pressures, and possession won and lost, and there were only 5 candidates in total. They've all made the squad. Augsburg's Mads Pedersen will join the other 4, as our wingbacks probably have the most exhausting job out there. In midfield, Kasper Hjulmand has called up 6 players: Christian Norgard, Morten Hjulmand, Thomas Delaney, Christian Eriksen, Pierre-Emil Højbjerg, and Mathias Jensen. Off the bat, I can tell you that Norgard isn't going to make it. His 69.1% tackle win rate was so low that I don't want to consider it as a comparison point. So our metrics are as follows: above Hjulmand's 75.6% tackle success rate, pass completion above Delaney's 87.6%, pressures attempted above Delaney's 9.88%, possession won above Eriksen's 11.33%, and possession lost below Højbjerg's 14.42%. We have a lot of options here, and controversially a midfield that once boasted 5 Premier League players has been pulled apart. Eriksen, Hjulmand and Delaney survive. Højbjerg and Jensen join Norgard at home. In comes RB Salzburg's Mads Bistrup. He leads the way in ball safety, losing possession only 5.3 times per 90, but doesn't sacrifice creativity in doing so. An 80% tackle win rate and 90% pass accuracy is impressive, and he might go straight into the starting lineup. He's joined by Lucas Lerger. The Kopenhagen midfielder might be playing at a lower level, but he is impressive in terms of ball recoveries and pressing, and offers good defensive cover. That's it, just 5 midfielders. We've called up some extra defenders, so there had to be some give elsewhere. In the wide positions, we have Mikkel Damsgaard, Andreas Skov Olsen, Anders Dreyer, and Jakob Brun Larsen. Brun Larsen is another victim of lack of game time, and so he's a goner. We're looking for players with more dribbles than Dreyer's 1.73, more shot creating actions, that's open play key passes and shots combined, than Damsgaard's 3.06, and who lose the ball less than Damsgaard's 18.16. Perhaps surprisingly, Damsgaard survives, as does Andreas Skov Olsen. It's not so good for Anders Dreyer, however. He'll be replaced by RB Salzburg's 6'4" Moritz Kjærgaard. Despite fewer shot-creating actions, Kjærgaard is a more effective dribbler, impressive in the pressing game, and has positional flexibility. He also looks like Mads Bistrup after a particularly rough night out. He'll be joined by FM legend Mohamed Daramy, who leads the way in dribbles and shot-creating actions, whilst also losing the ball less than any other candidate. Up top, we have Kasper Dolberg, Rasmus Højlund, Jonas Wind, and Yusuf Poulsen. We're looking for players with a better header success rate than Dolberg's 40%, less possession lost than Poulsen's 21.53, and a positive XG over performance. And that sees us drop Wind and Poulsen. Moritz Kiergaard once again met the criteria here and will be our third striker, alongside Dolberg and Højlund. That does leave one more spot, a player who met the criteria for strikers but cannot play the position. Albert Grombeck might not be a striker, but he is exceptionally versatile, someone who could potentially play anywhere in midfield, yet has the physicality to be thrown up top in the last 5 minutes when we're losing and need to go balls to the wall. Now I'll be honest, I expected to make far fewer changes. Whilst 4 of those changes were forced by circumstance, that is a total of 10 of Kasper Hjulmand's squad not making the cut. Now we're not going to try and recreate Hjulmand's tactic here. Firstly, it didn't work out too well in the simulations, and secondly, we have a slightly different selection of players. Whilst I've tried to keep the squad profile similar to that in real life, we want to create something simple that will get results. We will, however, stick to the 5-2-3 DM wide formation that Denmark use in game. We'll use traditional wingbacks to provide the width, and wide forwards who will cut inside. Let's start with those wide forwards. On the right we have Skov Olsen and Kiergaard, who are the more goal focused, so we'll go with an inside forward. On the left, Damsgaard and Daramy are more dribble heavy, so we'll go with an inverted winger. That in turn informs the duties we'll give to the wingbacks. Up front, a complete forward on attack, as they'll be expected to do it all. Now we have our front 5 formed, we can look at build-up shape and rest defence. We are not amongst the most talented teams in the tournament, and it's unlikely we'll be able to dominate possession, so solidity will be important here. No fancy position switching, no players expected to do the unexpected. We defend in this shape, we build up in this shape. 2 defensive midfielders, the more defensive on the side of the attacking wingback, and 3 bog standard defenders. We will go with a positive mentality. I don't want us to be risk averse, but also not too cavalier either. We'll hit early crosses because every player is a man mountain. In transition, we'll counter press because we have bodies forward, and we'll counter because we should have space to do so by virtue of our defensive shape. Out of possession, we'll prevent short goalkeeper distribution because we want the opposition to send the ball long into our airily gifted defence, and we'll trap inside because that's where all the bodies are. We want compactness, so we'll increase the defensive lining up. Whilst we want to draw teams onto us, we don't want them camped outside our box, and our new look squad has sufficient pace to cover. That means we'll make our keeper a sweeper keeper on support. Individual instructions are simple. Defenders tackle harder and mark tighter. The defensive midfield strata also tackle harder, with both wingbacks encouraged to stay wider too. The inverted winger will be given license to do what they want. Sit narrower to create space for the overlapping wingback, roam from position, and take more risks to give them freedom to create. And that is it. Now to go on holiday and see how we get on. That didn't go to plan. Neither did the second simulation. The third, fourth and fifth all resulted in second round knockouts. Now, I don't want to put the blame squarely on assistant manager Christian Poulsen's shoulders, but it is all his fault. Well, that is to say, I don't agree with his lineups. Christian Eriksen was used as the inverted winger. Thomas Delaney started alongside Hjulmand in the pivot. I couldn't hard select players to start because the games come thick and fast and you'd end up with players exhausted very quickly. So let's go the instant result route. Holiday between games, pick the lineup, then let Christian Poulsen control the game. We'll do that 5 times, so, like the baseline, we have 10 simulations in total. A not so great start, losing once again to Germany in the second round. The second attempt saw us draw Scotland in the second round, but lose on penalties. The third attempt saw us beat the Germans with an injury-time Damsgaard winner, but, like in the baseline, we were thumped by Spain. The fourth attempt saw us beat Germany by 2 goals, despite losing 2 players to injuries. A kinda quarter-final draw saw us play Scotland, and we destroyed them. Perhaps it would be fairer to say they destroyed themselves, conceding an early penalty, then gifting us the second en route to a 4-1 win. Turkey were next, and our race was run. The stats suggested an even game, but the Turks were clinical. 1 sim remaining. Each so far has improved upon the last. A second round knockout in regular time, a second round knockout on penalties, a quarter-final, a semi-final. I think you can see where this is heading. That's right, a quarter-final defeat to Italy. We once again beat Germany in the second round, but were thoroughly outmatched by the defending champions. What do you think? Do you think Denmark could do even better? Maybe win the whole thing? I don't. In fact, I went through and did my predictions on the UEFA website, and it turns out that I think FM has got it spot on, with Denmark falling to Germany in the second round. I've also predicted France to go on and win the whole thing, defeating Croatia in the final. I thought I'd share that so you can all laugh at me in about 4 weeks. See you next time.